Hi there. Welcome to my channel. I talk about damaged hair because you need to take control of your damaged hair. For over 30 years, I have conditioned and worked with damaged hair. I had a nice clientele in Boulder, Colorado, where I owned several salons. And I enjoyed my work because I love hair. Okay. But what I do best is teach you how to recognize damage. And then, of course, I like to teach you how to condition. We don't have enough information for the severity of the hair damage. We're seeing more and more hair damage that's a little bit more severe. So one of the things I like to do on my channel is to help you get to know your hair damage and also teach you how to condition. And that way, your conditioning becomes personal. And that way, it helps you get out of damaged hair. Because how you got into your damage is how you get out of your damage. It's sort of a map. So I need you as well as you need me, because I can educate you on what to look for and to set proper hair goals. So you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, I want my hair wellness at this point, not so much length, or I would like to have length. But gaining the length of all the way past your butt may not be in your DNA. Some of this length issue is said, scientists say that it could be determined in your DNA how long your hair will get. Well, can we just have hair wellness then? If we can't have the hair down to our butt, then maybe we can. But my point is this: if you're not that a candidate for that naturally, then we have to say hair wellness is important, because at least what I have, I love it because it's healthy and it's mine and it's progressing. It grows. It's shiny. It's soft. It's pliable. It doesn't take off sessions or seasons to just fall out or shed and all of a sudden it stops. Okay, that's not a healthy maintenance. And when you see signs of shedding and it goes away and comes back and goes away, that's not a good sign. Hair does that. It will go, the shedding will start and then it'll go away. But that means that you're not catching the proper life cycles. So your life cycles for your hair has a life cycle, can be off. And that can be due to the damage to the scalp. So we need to learn how to condition. We need to know how to recognize, and we need to have hair goals so we know when these problems occur. So if you have not enough protein, well, how do I know when I have more protein? That's where you have to learn how to condition and how to recognize your hair and the symptoms. So if you had frizz and breakage, we would think that you have too much protein and not enough moisture. Usually people do not have enough moisture. Protein is a little harder to take care of. But now that I've seen uh, kids starting to tint so early or chemically treat their hair so early, you see damage a little bit more worse as they get older. So when they start turning 16 and in their early woman age or man age, in their early 20s, you start seeing some issues with breakage and baldness, and they shouldn't have to go through that early. But long-term period of these chemicals can be damaging. So we want to change things, right? We want to take control of our damaged hair. I want to thank you for coming today. I hope that you like the like button and push the button. Subscribe button. It's free. So I'm hoping that you'll leave a comment or push the like button so that we know, or that I know, that this information is getting where it needs to be and helping people. My whole concept for this channel is to see if I can help. I have an old clientele that has already gone through this taking control of their damaged hair. I call them my phenomenal hair clients. And with the phenomenal hair clients, they wanted me to spread the word about taking control of your damaged hair. They said they love taking control of their damaged hair, and they were very successful at it. So I'm carrying on their wish as well as mine. I would like to see more people get out of this damaged issues. I do realize that fake hair is becoming the answer to damaged hair. We need to still learn to love our own hair. I am new at making videos, and so I want to make sure that I have clarified a little bit about how I see the internet giving information and how the information can be confusing. The last time we talked about moisture and looking up on the internet and what it said and what it didn't say that could mislead you. And definitely if you're not in the healthy range, or should we say the wellness range, and with your hair, then you're in a very damaged state. Remember, I work with chronic damaged hair. So it's hard to understand where you're at with your damaged hair. So I have noticed that people have been taking new techniques. They're learning from the channel. They are trying new ways, and they're trying to take control of their damaged hair. So I want to be here for you to help you through that process. It's not always easy to recognize your damage, and it's not always easy to understand how to deal with your damage. Remember, if you knew how to condition better, your hair would show it. So let's get into some internet. I want to, one more time, go to the internet and see what we can talk about, because I want to show you how the internet can be misleading. And why is it misleading? It's not that they're so bad. It's just that they're misleading because they don't have your record, and your damage is personal. So they have to talk to people in thousands, or thinking that they're talking to hundreds of people. So they can't single you out. They kind of have to group you in. That's how products are made. Shampoos are made for thousands of people. And if they say they custom make it, they just mean that they let you pick the color. They let you pick the moisturizer. But what good is that if you don't know what to look for? And you don't know how to pull more out of that label, because that label is so little. It doesn't seem to have much information on it at all. So you look for the key words: brittle, dry, oily. So with this knowledge of picking out product like that, it kind of puts you at a disadvantage. So let's talk a little bit here again about how the internet can be misleading. And hopefully we can get back to the regular format where we're answering emails in the next post. Just to sum all this up, the last time we looked on the internet, the problem was that it did not understand, it did not give you an indication that techniques would not work if you have gone past the damage. So for instance, if you're looking at a young college girl who hasn't had much chemical treatments, then you're looking at, oh, this conditioning information might work. But if you've had children and you've done drugs, or you've chemically treated too much, then you're surpassed this information and you need more. So just touching lightly on the information doesn't help you get better. So we want to reach a level of hair wellness with a scientific approach to conditioning. So today I'm looking at rosemary water versus rosemary oil. Which one is better for hair growth? And we just looked it up on the internet. Just put in damaged hair and we click on it. And now it says, leave it on. Leave it on for at least 30 minutes or overnight. If you like before washing it out. Constant use. I don't know why I thought I could do that without these. It's great grandmother here. Have to have my little glasses. Constant use over several weeks can help improve circulation, strengthen hair follicles, and reduce hair fallout. Sounds good, huh? Which one wins for hair growth? When it comes to natural hair care, few ingredients are as buzzworthy as rosemary. Whether it's fighting thinning hair, boosting circulation, or adding shine, rosemary seems to have it all. But there's one big question. Should you use rosemary water or rosemary oil? Both are popular, but each works a little differently. And which one is better really depends on your hair goals, texture, routine. Here's the lowdown in more conventional, I don't know why I can't read that. Here's the lowdown in a more common breakdown of what's going on. And it says best hair oil, best hair growth oils for older women, best shampoos for growth, hair growth oils that actually work. And if we see how it just gives you a little, there it is. It gives you a little 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to press on 3 because it says oils that actually work. Sounds interesting. Hair oil treatments. And it just goes to FDA and it goes to marketing. So literally you shop and they take you straight to the bottle. So what's wrong with this information? And is rosemary oil? They never really answered that, did they? And so here again, they didn't answer that. So that's a good point. So I'm going to go take you back here to where we said which one is better. Hair rosemary oil versus the water. I guess it's your preference, because if you don't like oils and you don't want to feel them on your hair, and it will stay on your scalp for a little while. So if you don't want to feel it on your scalp and your hair, if you do it before you go to sleep, I guess, and rinse it out in the morning, then maybe you won't feel so gucky. Water, you can mist it with the spray bottle, the rosemary water, and you would think, well, the water might sink in faster to the dermis. Okay, so what's wrong with that information? Well, first of all, I don't meet too many people who have hair goals. The average client that comes into me for help, they don't have hair goals. Matter of fact, they almost have anxiety over their hair. They still crying over people cutting their hair too short, or should we say stylists cutting their hair too short. They also have such a paranoia about breakage that their hair goals is not goals. They're just worrying, and they stress about their hair. So once you get to a point where you've tried expensive product and cheap products, and you just keep stabbing in the dark, but yet the condition is not gone away. And then you notice that your hair has been short for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Why can't you get it to grow? So your hair goals, I don't think people even know what those are. And when they do have hair goals, some of them tend to be very fragile in the sense of their hair goals is to look better for the wedding, or have the look they want. And when you look at Hollywood with all this long hair, they, would say to themselves, well, wait a minute, I want hair that's past my bra strap or in the middle of my back. And so what happens is that becomes their hair goal. And then, of course, it gets more and more frustrating for them, and it starts getting into an emotional issue. So as far as hair goals, I don't know any client that when I meet them, I give them hair goals. I tell you, this is dryness. This is what you're doing to get rid of it. And now you're going to look for these signs to see that the dryness clears up. So when you're not doing that, that's more of a scientific approach. So then you sort of have a little bit better idea. Let's hurry up because I know we got to go. So then it talks about the rosemary water and the rosemary oil. Here again, what is your preference? As far as it working, if you are low on water-loving molecules that God gave you, that God instilled physically in your hair, well, we won't say God. We'll say facts, scientific fact, we know that we have a matrix glue. It holds water-loving molecules, and they're made by your body, formulated when the hair is formulated. So if you think about the hair being a straw, right, that those cuticle layers that we've talked about before, they're very hard to get into. And when they look like this, they're very easy to get into. But you still have layers. So you still have 10 to 17 layers, depending on nationality. So if that's the case, then you have these layers, you need to get in there. So that's why you need an electrical conditioning heat cap. Okay, not the gel one, not a cap that just makes this, you put the sun on it. That's not going to raise your hair to a high temperature to swell the hair shaft to deposit the water-loving molecules. Now, when you have depleted all of your water-loving molecules, hair oil is not going to help this right away. To stabilize this, because you need the old hair still on your head so that you can have protection for the new hair. So every layer, because you know hair is presented around your scalp in layers and like a wig. So if that's the case, then what happens is you need to get past those layers, put in some water-loving molecules, which are man-made, and that helps your hair become stable. Now, you break your old habits, you learn how to condition. Then this damage issue will not come back. Well, it will always come back. Damage is a part of life, but at least you're in control of it. And sometimes we don't feel that way because we keep seeing the decreasing of the wellness. So to get your hair to be stable, you've got to stabilize the damage. Now, rosemary water and oil, I don't think it's bad. I do feel that rosemary is better if you drink it. They say it really stabilizes your sugar, so if you make a tea out of it. So I think that would be really nice. As far as it helping the dermis, I'm not doubting that it doesn't help the skin. Whenever you put aloe vera, vitamin E on your skin reacts. It gets better. But it's not going to stabilize moisture and protein. And in order to control your damage, you've got to first stabilize your moisture and protein. So that becomes your hair goal. And you might have to do the moisture conditioning depending on what's going on. So if you're very dehydrated, your hair, then what you need to do is to moisturize on a weekly basis until the moisture rising is corrected. As far as stabilizing your hair and then adding in, once you reach a certain amount of hair wellness and stabilization, you have enough new growth that is coming in all healthy without knowing damage because you've changed your ways. So we make 80% of our own damage. So if you can learn how to condition better and learn what to look out for, you can take control and stop your damage. So once you have stopped it and the new hair is coming in and it doesn't know all the damage that the old hair knew, then you can use your rosemary oil. I'm sure the scalp would be very prone to do well under those conditions. So I don't mind that. I don't think it hurts unless you're using honey. There are certain things people put on their hair like beer and eggs. I've heard a lot. So, these things can coat the hair and cause it to have other issues. But rosemary water and oil should wash off. It shouldn't clog the scalp or shouldn't clog the hair follicle. However, it is very important that you understand that these oils are not going to be the savior. They are a good maintenance once you have achieved hair wellness. And once you know how to deep condition, then adding these oils and waters, because there are some nice oils, and like vitamin E. I love vitamin E for the scalp. Well, vitamin E is good for your skin. I also like it when people take it or need it, as far as rubbing it on their skin. So vitamin E is a little bit more water soluble, and it shouldn't bother you, and it should help your skin, and it'll help your scalp Scalp is like skin. So it does have absorbency. And so if you want to stabilize your damage, then you can, once you know that your moisture is there and your protein is even, then you can go ahead and entertain these other healthy things you can do with your hair. Like I said, rosemary oil and water versus water, I think both of them work well. I think that it depends on your preference. If you don't want the oily, then you can have the water. So it's kind of nice. However, don't expect this to be such a fast change, because it does not have, rosemary oil or water does not have water-loving molecules. And when man makes water-loving molecules, you'll need to deposit those deep into the hair shaft. That's used with your electrical conditioning heat cap. And when you do that, remember to check your heat cap, because a lot of times your hair will absorb and all of the conditioner, and then you're just underneath your heat cap with no product, and that's not good. So you want to utilize your heat cap properly by reapplying product without rinsing. You just reapply your product, get back underneath your heat cap for the remainder of your time. So once this is achieved, then you can look into the rosemary oils, the vitamin E oils. Those are, I would say, just healthy maintenance. It's like when you go out, you eat healthy, right? But when you're at home, you're able to eat even better, hopefully. Nowadays, with everything being retracted, I don't know if that's even capable. I mean, that's even fun. But you get my point. Your hair goals are to be, knowing that I'm getting rid of the dehydration. I see it gone. Now what do? I need to know what my hair is going through. I need to know what I need to keep it balanced with moisture. So if you're a person that gets sun, a lot of being out in the sun all the time, I should say, then of course you might need to moisturize more often. Sun protection should be in your product. It's always important. I think that when you use your moisturizers and your proteins, it does help you protect you from the sun. So why don't you, think about this, think about your real hair goals, and that's to start controlling your damage and start understanding that sometimes looking on the internet, it doesn't quite give all the scope. It's a lot of marketing, and if you don't run into marketing, then you're running into half-truths. Just understanding where your damage is definitely better in conquering your damage. I hope to help you with this on this channel, and hopefully you can get to know your hair damage and you can start taking control. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for staying, and I really appreciate you for going to my Facebook. I've met a lot of you there, and I appreciate that. My Facebook is Dita Damaged Hair. It's Facebook. Yeah, I am going to start doing some things on Instagram as well, though. But thank you for coming. Now, go have a better hair day.